He was intelligent, charming, and calculated. Standing at 6 foot 9 inches with a mind as sharp as his wit, Edmund Kemper seemed like a friendly giant who could strike up a conversation and disarm you with his smile. But beneath that calm exterior lay a monster. Known as the co-ed killer, young college students were disappearing without a trace, their final moments spent in the company of a man they thought they could trust. What makes Kemper's story so terrifying isn't just the brutality of his crimes, it's the disturbing intelligence and chilling self-awareness with which he committed them. From luring his victims into his car with a carefully rehearsed act of kindness to confessing his heinous deeds with eerie detail, Kemper's tale is one of manipulation, depravity, and psychological horror. How does a man capable of such evil remain so composed? What drove him to kill not only strangers, but those closest to him? Tonight, we're diving into the twisted mind of Edmund Kemper, a killer so terrifying even his fellow inmates fear him. Prepare yourself. This is the case of the co-ed killer. Welcome to Dark Diaries. First, I'd like to thank my 10 subscribers. My tiny channel wants you to know that liking this video is like high-fiving me virtually, and subscribing is like inviting me to tell more stories. Kemper was a head taller than his peers by the age of 4. Early on, he exhibited antisocial behavior such as cruelty to animals. At the age of 10, he buried a pet cat alive, then dug it up, decapitated it, and mounted its head on a spike. Kemper later stated that he derived pleasure from successfully lying to his family about killing the cat. At the age of 13, he killed another family cat because he felt like the cat liked his younger sister more. He kept pieces of it in his closet until his mother found them. His IQ was estimated at 145, making him highly intelligent, but deeply disturbed. In his youth, Kemper performed satanic rituals with his younger sister's dolls, which includes ripping the dolls' heads and hands. On one occasion, when his elder sister, Susan Huey Kemper, teased him and asked why he did not try to kiss his teacher, he replied, "If I kiss her, I'd have to kill her first." Kemper recalled that as a young boy, he would sneak out of his house armed with his father's bayonet and go to his second-grade teacher's house to watch her through the windows. Kemper also stated in interviews in his later life that some of his favorite games to play as a child were gas chamber and electric chair, in which he asked his younger sister to tie him up and flip an imaginary switch. He would then tumble over and writhe on the floor, pretending that he was being executed by gas inhalation or electric shock. On August 27, 1964, at the age of 15, Kemper killed his grandmother Maude Matilda Kemper with a rifle after an argument. He shot her once in the head and twice in the back, then stabbed her several times. When Kemper's grandfather, Edmund Emil Kemper Sr., came home, Kemper fatally shot him in the driveway. Kemper phoned his mother, who told him to call the police. Kemper did so and waited for police to arrive. Kemper told police that he just wanted to see what it felt like to kill Grandma, and later said he killed his grandfather because he would be angry with Kemper. Psychiatrist who interviewed Kemper during adulthood wrote, "In his way, he had avenged the rejection of both his father and his mother." Between 1972 and 1973, Kemper murdered 6 young college students, earning him the nickname the co-ed killer. On May 7, 1972, Edmund Kemper picked up 18-year-old hitchhikers Mary Pesce and Anita Luchessa under the pretense of driving them to Stanford University. Instead, he drove to a secluded wooded area near Alameda, where he handcuffed Pesce and locked Luchessa in the trunk before stabbing and strangling them both to death. Kemper brought the bodies back to his apartment. He was able to evade detection even when he was stopped by police for a broken taillight. At home, he photographed, sexually violated, and dismembered the corpses. He disposed of the remains in plastic bags near Loma Prieta Mountain. He returned later to assault the severed heads before discarding them in a ravine. Pesce's skull was discovered in August, but Luchessa's remains were never found. Edmund Kemper picked up 15-year-old Aiko Koo after she missed her bus to dance class. Driving to a remote location, he pulled a gun on her, but accidentally locked himself out of the car. Koo, shockingly, let him back in. He choked her unconscious, raped, and killed her. He stopped at a bar for drinks, and as he left, he opened the trunk of his car to admire his catch. He returning to his apartment, where he sexually violated, dismembered, and disposed of her remains. Koo's disappearance prompted her mother to put up flyers, but no information surfaced. His next victim was 18-year-old Cindy Schall, where he picked up near Cabrillo College. He shot her with a .22 pistol and took her body to his mother's house. Cindy's body was kept hidden in a closet in his room overnight. The next morning, while his mother was at work, he sexually violated, decapitated, and dismembered the body in a bathtub. Kemper buried her severed head in his mother's garden, claiming he wanted it to look up to her. He disposed of the remaining parts off a cliff, though most were later discovered. The body parts showed evidence of dismemberment with a power saw. His last two college victims were Raslind Thorpe and Allison Liu. After arguing with his mother, Kemper drove to UC Santa Cruz. He used a university parking sticker to gain 23-year-old Raslind Thorpe and 20-year-old Allison Liu's trust. Kemper slowed his vehicle with the women inside. He then shot Thorpe in the head with a .22 pistol. Next, he turned toward Liu as she cowered and squirmed in the back seat of his car. His first two shots missed the terrified girl, although his third bullet hit her in the temple. Their bodies were then wrapped in blankets. He beheaded them in his car and carried the headless corpses into his mother's house to have sexual intercourse with them. Kemper dismembered them and removed bullets to avoid identification. In April 1973, Kemper escalated his violence by turning on his ultimate target, his mother Clarnell Strandberg. Kemper was awakened by his mother, who was coming home from a party. While sitting in her bed reading a book, she noticed Kemper enter her room and said to him, "I suppose you're going to want to sit up all night and talk now." Kemper replied, "No, good night." He waited for her to fall asleep, then he snuck back into her room to bludgeon her with a claw hammer and slit her throat with a penknife. Kemper then beheaded her and performed acts on her. Kemper stated that he put her head on a shelf and screamed at it for an hour, threw darts at it, and, ultimately, smashed her face in. He also cut out her tongue and larynx and put them in the garbage disposal. However, the garbage disposal could not break down the tough vocal cords and ejected the tissue back into the sink. Kemper later said, "That seemed appropriate, as much as she'd and screamed and yelled at me over so many years." Kemper hid his mother's corpse in a closet and went to drink at a nearby bar. Upon his return, he invited his mother's best friend, 59-year-old Sara Taylor, over to the house to have dinner and watch a movie. When Hallet arrived, Kemper strangled her. He also put Hallet's corpse in a closet. He left a note to the police. It read, "Approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday. No need for her to suffer any more at the hands of this horrible, murderous butcher. It was quick, asleep, the way I wanted it. Not sloppy and incomplete, gents. Just a lack of time. I got things to do." Afterward, Kemper fled the scene. He drove nonstop to Pueblo, Colorado, taking caffeine pills to stay awake for the over 1,000 miles. He had 3 guns and hundreds of ammunition in his car. He believed he was the target of an active manhunt. After not hearing any news about the murders of his mother and Hallet when he arrived in Pueblo, he found a phone booth and called the police. He confessed to the murders of his mother and Hallet, but the police did not take his call seriously and told him to call back at a later time. Several hours later, Kemper called again asking to speak to an officer he personally knew. He confessed to that officer of killing his mother and Hallet, then waited for the police to arrive and take him into custody. Upon his capture, Kemper also confessed to the murders of the 6 students. When asked in a later interview why he turned himself in, Kemper said, "The original purpose was gone. It wasn't serving any physical or real or emotional purpose. It was just a pure waste of time. Emotionally, I couldn't handle it much longer. Toward the end there, I started feeling the folly of the whole damn thing. And at the point of near exhaustion, near collapse, I just said to hell with it and called it all off." Kemper was indicted on 8 counts of first-degree murder on May 7, 1973. 3 court-appointed psychiatrists found Kemper to be legally sane. One of the psychiatrists recalled Kemper engaging in cannibalism, alleging that he sliced flesh from the legs of his victims, then cooked and consumed these strips of flesh in a casserole. He pleaded guilty to all charges, showing no desire to contest his guilt. On November 8, 1973, the six-man, six-woman jury deliberated for 5 hours before declaring Kemper sane and guilty on all counts. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. He is currently serving his sentence at California Medical Facility in Vacaville. If you enjoyed this story, hit the like button. It's like leaving a tip, but free. And don't forget to subscribe for more tales next time. If you're still hungry for more serial killer stories, check out this video about a serial killer who used humans to make soap and tea cakes.